welcome to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Emmanuel, and I'm very happy to be here this morning to bring you up to speed with the latest happening evolving around the world of sport. Top on our menu this morning, Aruna Kodri so far set back a latest ITTF rankings, and coming in, of course, from the WTA, Iga Swiatek returns to world #1 sports. And in football, Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur unbeaten a run. These and many more will be yours after this short timeout. Please stay with us.
Killing him not to counterpunch.
You're welcome back as the Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me on today's edition of the show is a man, of course, you know so well, Emmanuel Michael. Good morning to you, and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Talk.
Yeah, beautiful morning to you, Kingsley, and good morning to our viewers out there.
All right, let's quickly take a look at some interesting issues coming from the world of sport, especially in athletics down here in Nigeria. Now, saddened by the spate of a ban handed out to Nigerian athletes due to drug-related issues, the Nigerian Athletics Athletes Commission is taking the bull by the horn in their efforts to forestall future occurrences. The body has a resolve to constitute 2 working groups, testing pool initiative and competition task force, to checkmate Nigerian athletes off and on the tracks. The testing pool initiative, it was gathered, it will be charged with monitoring performance indices of all potential athletes en route to the Paris Olympics by continuously updating the Athlete Commission on athletes to be listed on the random testing pool of the Federation. And the competition task force will monitor and follow up on non-athletic Federation of Nigeria organized track, field, and road race categories. They would demand affiliation information from meet and race organizers for proper scrutiny, and this will forestall maltreatment of athletes in any competition within the athletics space. In 2020, the Athletic Integrity Unit added Nigeria to a list of 7 countries in Category A considered to have the highest doping rates to athletics. But this time around, we're seeing, of course, measures being put in place, to curb all of these issues of or case of doping when it has to do with Nigerian athletes. How far do you see this, of course, putting remedy to doping issues for Nigerian athletes?
First, I must also say here that I think this one has been long, waited for this kind of body to come up with a measure, that can be able to curb the issue of end to this issue of doping when it has to do with athletes. I think it's a nice initiative. I believe they are just waking up from their slumber, because they should for long, constitute this kind of body to be able to put our athletes on check, so that we avoid most of these shameful and embarrassing, issues that we are having when it has to do with doping, when it concerns the Nigerian athletes. We have lots and lots of names in the list of, banned athletes that hails here from Nigeria. It does not speak good for our athletic federation. It doesn't speak good for the country itself, and as a result of the increase in number of Nigerian athletes caught in the web of doping or one issue of the other, Nigeria, just like you wrote out there, in 2020, we have included in category A as the country with the most susceptible athletes that is to test positive. And that what it means is that whenever the athletic body is looking for countries that most likely their athletes will be caught in the web of, doping, it has to boil down to Nigeria first. That is what being in that category A means. So I think it's a nice measure to be able to put a check. And if we continue to do this, I assure you, I think, we will clear our names from the list of, that category A, because it is embarrassing to note the number of Nigerian athletes which their name have appeared, you know, in the issue of when it has to do with doping. I think it's quite embarrassing.
Also give credit to the Minister of Sports because he's been working assiduously to make sure that all of these issues are being covered. And I will look forward to see the performance of Team Nigeria at the Paris 2024 Olympics, because I think all of this efforts for this doping issue. You can mention the likes of Grace Kocha, the divine Nigeria will be out of that elite of countries that their athletes, of course, normally involved in such kind of, I think, talking about the doping cases. So let's see hoopers dominated all, all four quarters, 23 to 8. Respectively, although of their play there apparently in the first phase of for the league due to illness issue. So for
This is, I think, is going to be um, uh, the, 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 the clash of titans out there, because this season, beating their opponent, dominating in all spheres, in all angles of the game. I think it's a great one, but then again, they need to brace up for a lightmost test ahead on their next game against the defending champions.
Quara Falcons, of course, we look forward to see if they can take down Rivers when they went to the Basketball African League last time, but the outing wasn't really good enough. And let's see who will get this one this time around. Will it be Rivers Supers or Quara Falcons at the end of today? But talking about other results, Hoops and Reed, they beat Lagos Legends 82 to 71 in that particular encounter. And Urban Comets, they beat Police Battens 51 to 47. So those were the latest results from the uh, Nigerian Basketball League down here. Let's take a look at the NBA as we saw some interesting results as well. Detroit Pistons, they lost to Golden State Warriors 120 to 109. And talking about the Golden State Warriors, Michael, they'll be down today, tomorrow. You know, they come up. I don't know what you make of their performance so far since the season got started.
I think they'll be very, very inconsistent since the start of this season. And for me, there's need for the coach to fix, you know, one or two things to get it right. Because, you know, they will just do well, you know, give their fans a glimpse of hope today. Next game, they just find a way to stutter. And that is not good enough if they wish to compete favorably well you know, in this Savannah conference. I think they need to do a whole lot more because this inconsistency is going to cost them a whole lot. I mean, having gotten this victory, they need to build on this and replicate, you know, this good form over time before we can truly say that they are forced to be reckoned with. If not, if they continue with this kind of flip flow or flip start, I think it's going to be a very poor one, you know, for them this season.
Of course, we hope the Golden State Warriors will get back their form and put up a very impressive performance this season. Indiana Pacers as well, they beat San Antonio Spurs 152 to 111. Orlando Magic, they lost to Dallas Mavericks 117 to 102. Was really an interesting encounter as the Philadelphia 76ers beat Washington Wizards 146 to 128. Actually lost to the Milwaukee Bucks 129 to 135. Miami Heat beats LA Lakers. It ended 108 to 107. Michael, LA Lakers are still struggling.
Still struggling indeed, and I think I don't know what seems to be their problem because they actually got two players during the off season to boost you know, their squad. So I thought with the addition of those few players, they are going to, you know, at least you know, step up their game this time around. But then again, they've started very poor. Doesn't matter how many point disparity, but you were unable to get the victory. That is what matters. But for me, I think there is need for this kind of inconsistency. I think it doesn't speak good for them. Having added one or two players into their ranks, I thought that should have helped them.
This team, they're actually struggling this season. Probably, maybe they might bounce back just like what we saw last season, you know, making it the diamonds, you know, to the playoff. Let's see what the LA Lakers, of course, were able to put up going forward. New York Knicks, they beat LA Clippers 111 to 97. Chicago Bulls, they actually beat Utah Jazz 130 to 113. Houston Rockets beat Sacramento Kings 122 to 97. Minnesota Timberwolves, they beat Boston Celtics 114 to 109. Oklahoma City Thunder, they beat Atlanta Hawks 126 to 117. Denver Nuggets, of course, continue their impressive run as they beat Olympic Pelicans 134 to 116. Denver Nuggets, they still look, you know, formidable this season, despite some, I think, was it a few days ago, we saw them suffer their first loss for the season. But I think that really weighed them down. We're seeing them at least churning out some kind of, you know, fantastic results.
Yeah, this is what a champion is made of.
130, I think 34 to 116 against the Pelicans. I think that's, take a look at the difference in the points. You know that, yes, the Denver Nuggets are still one of the teams that everyone should watch out for.
Sure, that is what you know, a champion is made up of. You know, having lost their last game, you know, bouncing back very strongly this time around, it clearly tells you how depth their squad is and the strength within the squad. You know, and this man, Jokic and Jamal Murray, also still doing great things out there, doing big things, always coming up very strong to always put their team ahead. I think it's a great one for them. And You know, I think Denver Nuggets, they truly want to defend this very well because they are not taking their foot off the gas, you know. And I must also congratulate their coach. He's one man that I think he's not giving the needed respect and accolade that he deserves. This is one man last season that nobody gave Denver Nuggets a chance, but the coach was able to turn out the result. I think he needs to be given more credit.
Need to be given more credit, and we'll see how far the Devon Nuggets will go this time around. But let's take a look at other matters aside from the NBA. It's all about the ICTF ranking, and that wasn't a good one for Nigerian Nigeria's Aruna Quadri, because he dropped one spot from 15 to 16 in the latest International Table Tennis Federation World Ranking for October. Despite the drop, the 34-year-old is still the top-ranked player in Africa, having accumulated 1,175 points during the month under review. Egypt Omasa is second in Africa after he retained his 20th spot in the world ranking. Before we bring unfold, the rankings, what do you make of the drop for Aruna Quadri?
I think it is not very surprising to me because his last time game wasn't that too good, where he actually allowed a player that was seated at board number 45th to just come and floor him, where we expected him to, build
and the
up.
player that was making his debut as well.
Exactly, and at the time where he
was
just
at the World Table Tennis
championship, and getting into that game where he was coming at the back heel of being defending his title here in Africa, we thought that it was going to be an easy ride for him, for someone that is making his debut appearance for the first time. You should expect that that experience will not be there. But then again, experience, wasn't to be called to play as the inexperienced player actually floored him. And for me, that very time that he lost that game, I knew that he definitely is going to drop in the world ranking, dropping one position to where he was. And for me, I think it's very bad because Umar Asa have just retained his world position, which is world number 20, and Aruna Quadri dropping down. I think it's a threat to our own Aruna Quadri.
Do you think Aruna Quadri still has more? Because of recent in different tournaments, we've seen him struggle. I don't know. Do you still think he still has more to?
Well, I wouldn't say that he did not have much to give. He still have much to give. He just need to go back and work on himself and bounce back very strongly. We don't know what might he be his personal challenge that we don't know. But then again, you'll also say that he's still a force to be reckoned. But going by the decline in his game so far, I think he need to work on his game so that he can be able to bounce back very strong and become that Haruna that we used to know, that when other players squares up against him, in short, when at the hearing of his name, they know that they are facing against a stiffer, opponent or opponent. So for me, I still believe that he still has what it takes to bounce back, and he must do that as quick as possible because other players are also, coming up in the ranks as well, that is ready to dethrone him from his position. Just like I say, Umar Asa. And any further lose of grip in his position, I think Umar Asa would definitely topple him. He needs to work on himself seriously.
Egypt Omasa is second in Africa after he retained his 20th spot in the world ranking. Ahmed Salah is ranked third in Africa and 55th globally. Mohamed Bella is placed fourth after he moved one step upward to 65th position. In fifth place is Algeria Mehdi Bolosa, who also stepped up his spots to 93. Ibrahima Dow and Taiwo Mati are the other Africans in the top 100. Dow is ranked 98 with 208 points, while Mati is placed at 99 in the latest ranking, having recorded 207 points in the month under review. Now, China's Van Shundong topped the current ranking with a total points of 6,410. His countrymen Zheng Wang and Malong, respectively, having pulled a point haul of 4,795 and 3,865 respectively. In the women's category, Nigerians women top ranker player Fatima Bello is ranked 118 in the world, while occupies 142nd position. Esther Ori is ranked 151 with Ajoke Ojo.
She's, she has had a very poor, season, in this past, few months right now. Just like you say, she has not been the best or, of her form. I don't know what seems to be the problem, but jumping to two embarrassing for someone who has, carved a niche for herself. Yes, for someone who has carved a niche for herself in that, arena, I think it's a very poor one. Not just for Funke Oshinaike, but generally for the women category. I think no Nigerian player out there is even in the top 100 list. I think it's quite poor for a country such as Nigeria that has enormous talent, great tennis players out there. I think it's a very poor one, and we need to work on it and bounce back very strong, because it's quite disappointing that we couldn't find even any single Nigerian in the top 100. It's poor.
In the women category, Chinese players Dong Ying maintain their dominance, occupying the top 3 spots respectively. Chinese in the male category topping the first, second and third position. Chinese as well in the female category.
I think a master class from Chinese. This is area that they have been able to carve a niche for themselves, and they are forced to be reckoned with. When it has to do with table tennis, they are not just topping the both male and female category for nothing. There, it boils down to consistency. It boils down to tenacity and to what they know how to do best. They have not stopped that. They keep climbing and staying up the radar for a quite long time. This is what Nigeria need to emulate. We must find a way to carve a niche for ourselves in a certain spot where whenever the world mention about Nigeria, we know, yes, this is what we stand for in any sporting arena. And this Japanese has been able to do when it has to do table tennis, dominating not just in the male category but also in the female category. Not just one person dominating, but first, second, third position in the male category, first, second, third position also in the female category. Clearly tells you that their dominance is not anyway a fluke. It was boiled down to hard work and consistency.
Impressive dominance by the Chinese table tennis players, who hope and look forward for the Nigerian table tennis players to live up to expectation in the coming months, probably days or years. But let's take a look at the WTA finals now. Michael Higuita-Swiatek, she trashed Jessica Pegula to win the season's ending WTA finals and move back to the top of the women's ranking, taking back her world #1 spot. And she needed to beat the American, talking about Jessica Pegula, in the final in Cancun to overtake Aryna Sabalenka as world #1, and she did so with a dominant 6-1, 6-love win. No encounter, and she did that in just 59 minutes. Higuita-Swiatek back to her form.
Sure, masterclass display from her there, last time. Jessica Pegula was just brushed aside, just like a newcomer, in the system. But it boils down to the prowess of Higuita-Swiatek, and also breathing down the neck of the world #1. Talking about Sabalenka. She knows what is at stake. That she knows if she goes, to win that game, the point disparity will further close up on the world #1, and that was why, she did not, let her fans down or even let herself down. She had to work pretty hard, and be able to finish her opponent. Talking about Pegula clinically there, I think Higuita-Swiatek is that lady that for a long while to come, she's going to stay up there, because of the effort that we've seen her put in so much. Being able to dethrone one that is seated at world #1 is not an easy thing.
For me, Aryna Sabalenka actually took over world #1, but I just knew she won't last, down there. The way she was playing, with the way she was responding, to some um, games,
Yeah.
and all of that. I didn't really see that much determination for her to stay there for a very long time. I think it was just a thing of joy for her getting to the world number one, and she didn't even stay there up to 4 months. And she's, Arena, you guys should carefully take it away from her. So I wasn't surprised because I knew Arena Sabalenka, she really have to be, for me, for what I'm saying, she really has to be more serious
Yeah.
With her game. If she probably wants to get back the world number one spot and stay there for a very long time. Iga Swiatek, she has dominated. She has been there for a very long time. She started the year as world number one, and now for what we're saying, she's going to end the year as world number one as well. So I think there's a whole lot from a player, especially in the female category, if you want to maintain that world number one spot for a very long time. I didn't really see Arina Sabalenka to be that kind of a player.
For me, that is for you, but this game it boils down to what you can be able to put out there on the court. And sitting at the world number one, there's a whole lot of pressure for you to stay at the top, and you can't take anything away from Arena Zabalenka. Staying at the top for close to about 4 months is not a fluke. It's not an easy one. Whichever way you want to take a look at it, she truly work her fingers to the bone to get to the top, and able to stay at the top for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, getting to 4 months. I mean, it is not an easy thing. And again, don't forget that Iga Swiatek have not won any WTA tourney final, as in the women category final before the end of the season. She hasn't won it before. This is her first time of winning it. So you should expect her to double her effort to make sure that she clinches this one happen. But you can't take away the fact that, Arena deserves to be the world number one as her then, considering her form as her then. But then again, you understand that Iga Swiatek, still young, want to prove many critics wrong, and want to also make a name for herself. So she had to double her effort. As for me, I think we just love this kind of healthy rivalry within the WTA. It's not unlike the male counterpart where Novak Djokovic stays at the top for quite a long time, and nobody seems to be a threat to him, the exception of Iga Swiatek. So for me, I think this is the beauty of what tennis is all about when you talk about the WTA. And for me, I love the healthy competition.
Just like you mentioned, it's the first time Swiatek has won the WTA Finals tournament, and she's the youngest champion of the tournament since Petra Victova 2011 win at the age of 21. But for me, I see, one, and I'm probably looking for. Coco Gauff won the Grand Slam of recent. Arina Sabalenka as well. We've seen other players like Jessica Pegula and the rest of them to live up to expectation. But one lady we've seen a bit of inconsistency from is Iga Swiatek. And now she's gotten back the world number one spot. We're looking for when Coco Gauff won the Grand Slam. Totally, she was going to pick up from there and maintain her form.
Yeah.
Arina Sabalenka as well, the likes of Jessica Pegula. I shouldn't even mention Onshava because her own level of inconsistency is really getting out of hand at the point. But I don't know what you make of it. Do you see Iga Swiatek dominating as well for a very long time? Because the other ladies or the other girls to say, I will not see much progress from them.
Well, for me, I think it boils down to her determination. It boils down to what she wants in her future, what she actually stands for. If she wants to, make that very big name for a quite long time to last, or to become a household name in the lips of a tennis player, I think she needs to be very consistent before we can actually say that she's going to last for a quite long time. Just like the names you've mentioned, Jessica Pegula, Arina Zabalenka, Coco Gauff, they've won 1 or 2 titles, but at the end of it all, when you think that they've upped their game, they just find a way to falter at the end of it all, and that inconsistency keep making them dropping down the pecking order when it has to do with the number one. So for me, I strongly believe that if she can be able to work very hard, she can stay there for a long time. But then again, the inconsistency that we've seen from some of these big names that we mentioned, I think let's hope that he's not going to haunt her as well because of this inconsistency. Because of the fact that she has regained back her world #1 spot, this laxity may set in. She will try to relax and try to select some of the few
Are you
tournaments.
sure she will want to relax?
Well, she's human as well.
I
Sometimes
think that's where she really wants to give in more. To make sure she maintain her #1 spot for a very long time.
You can never say. There are some of them, when they win some major tournament like this, they tend to take out time, and try to cool their head off. And by so doing, you expect other players also to be taking part in one or two competitions, and that means that they will be racking points, one or 2 points from different competitions that they are taking part, trying to close the gap. So for me, I believe that if she can be able to stay consistent, for long while, I think she can be able to maintain that #1 spot for a quite long time. But like I said, the WTA is full of surprises that you can't truly beat your heart and say that so #1 is going to stay there for a quite long time.
And talking about one man who doesn't really have to participate in all the tournaments, but will still come back and take his #1 spot is Novak Djokovic. He began a record extending 398 weeks as the top-ranked player in the latest ATP ranking. Of course, was such an impressive move for the man. The 36-year-old Serbian clinched his 7th Paris Masters and overall 40th title at the ATP 1000 level with a 6-4, 6-3 victory over Grigor Dimitrov in the final. Ahead of next week ATP finals, where he is the defending champion, 34-time major winner, Djokovic took his ranking point tally to 11,445 points. Carlos Alcaraz, the 20-year-old from Spain, is second with 8,455 points after a shock second-round defeat against Russian qualifier Roman Cephalin. This is one man that doesn't need to participate in all the time. Don't forget, after he's won, I think his last Grand Slam, he actually took time off,
to rest. Yeah.
came back, won the Paris Masters, and he actually increased, his points to the world #1, and of course will still be the world #1 to the end of this year.
I think it's one man that we can't stop talking about because for me, he is the master of the court as it stands right now. I have not seen this kind of display from a player such as Novak Djokovic. Truly deserves to be at the world #1. This is someone that whenever he take part in any major tournament and he wins it, he take out time to chill off himself and still come back very strong and also replicate the same good form that we used to see him in the past whenever he takes part in any major. And looking at the point disparity right now, I will tell you for sure that he's going to stay there at a long while. He's stopping Iga Swiatek with about Carlos Alcaraz with about 3,000 points, which is very far for me. I think he's going to take Carlos Alcaraz.
A Grand Slam can make Carlos Alcaraz take back his #1 spot. Of course, the Australian Grand Slam
is just by
January.
Yeah.
So if he can buckle up and then comes up go down there to in Australia and win the Grand Slam, of course he cannot really get back his #1 spot. But that would be a tall mountain as well because Djokovic might also be there.
Definitely, that is where the angle I'm trying to come. Having won this one, I think Djokovic will have the time to relax and wait for January, and you are sure that he's going to take part in the Grand Slam in January. So for me, I think it's going to be a mountain hill for Carlos Alcaraz to climb right now, considering the point disparity between him and Novak Djokovic. I think, for me, I am pretty disappointed this time around in this competition with Carlos Alcaraz. At a time where we thought that, he's going to pile the pressure against Novak Djokovic. He just faltered and fell like a pack of cards, and I was pretty disappointed in him because I knew it that he is the only one that can be able to stand and close the gap against Novak Djokovic. Without him, I think it's going to take, some years before any player could come to the level of getting near or to Novak Djokovic. For me, I think Carlos Alcaraz need to go back, and work on himself and bounce, very strong and do greater things so that he can be able to close up the gap.
And talking about the ranking, the ATP, Djokovic, of course, is #1 with 11,445 points. Carlos Alcaraz is second with 8,455 points. Dana Medvedev third with 7,200 points. Jannik Sinner fourth with 4,490 points. And Andrew Lev fifth with 5,205 points. Stefan Tsitsipas sixth with 4,435 points. Kasper Ruud seventh with 3,625 points. Alexander Zverev taking up the 8th position with 3,585 points. Taylor Fritz taking up the 9th position with 3,500 points. Hugo Rune rocking the 10th position with 3,460 points. At this point, we'll take a short break, and when we come back from this break, we'll move straight to the Nigerian Premier Football League. Please stay with us.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
The Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course, we'll bring in the latest revolving around the waters. But of course, just to let you know that the game between Rivers Hoopers and Kwara Falcons is ongoing at the moment, and Rivers Hoopers, of course, they are leading in that particular one. In the first quarter, they led by 24-14. So we look forward to see the other quarters and how the results will unfold. But Michael, let's move on as we take a look at the Nigerian Premier Football League. It was such an impressive match, the 7 encounter for the likes of Sporting Lagos and as well Lobby Stars. And yesterday's Sporting Lagos, trashed Kano Pillars by 3 goals at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, on Nikon, Lagos. What do you make of that performance from the young boys in the MPFL?
It's a great performance from Sporting Lagos. I wasn't surprised, seeing them trash Kano Pillars at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena. I think the Lagos crowd.
If you take a look at this scoreline, 3 goals to 0.
Yeah.
To Kano Pillars.
Yeah.
Kano Pillars that have been in the league for how many years?
Yeah.
Sporting Lagos have just scored. This is the first time they are coming to the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Yeah, I want to also agree with you. You can call them the giant killer. Don't forget what they did in the Super 8. So they also trimmed down or took down some big names.
The level of experience I'm seeing in this Sporting Lagos, I think, is really, really extraordinary.
Very, very extraordinary. They just know how to, beat big teams, and that is what it is. And if you must win the league, if you must be a strong contender of the league, you must be able to, trim or bring down some of these big names, such as Rivers United, Enyimba of Aba, Kano Pillars, Akwa United. These are former champions. Enugu Rangers. These are names that whenever you face them and you truly want to win the league, you need to beat them. Not just beating them, beat them silly, very convincingly in your home ground whenever they come to your backyard. So for me, I think Sporting Lagos, they are doing great things out there. And again, thanks to the man behind the scene, the coach, talking about the coach and Godwin Enahena as well. Because I think they find a way to blend experience with the young squad as well. The striker they got is an experienced striker who have seen it all.
The likes of Junior Lukosa.
Yes, he has seen it
all.
all.
Of course, he was very instrumental in the game.
Very, very. And he scored one of those goals. It clearly tells you how they were able to blend experience and, those young lads. And for me, I strongly believe that Sporting Lagos, they are the team. They still remain the team for me this season to watch out for, because I actually followed them, very carefully last season when they took part in the Super 8. They did marvelously well, beating big teams. Not just beating those teams, but one thing striking about them is their pattern of play. You can clearly say, yes, this is the kind of football that they are playing. They are not just playing the kick and follow kind of football. They keep the ball on the floor, try to enjoy themselves, and at the end, put the ball behind the back of the net, which is most importantly, putting the ball behind the back of the net, grinding out the result. I think Sporting Lagos is that thing that we need to, also watch out, this season. Courtesy of this win, they've actually moved a little bit up on the radar right now.
Of course, was not a very good one. Of course, for the likes of Bayelsa United, they lost to Lobby Stars. They were at home and they lost. That was a very, of course, sad one for Bayelsa United. Don't forget, we talked to the media officer last week, Saturday,
Yeah.
and he said they were going to go into the game and commit suicide. But we told him not to commit suicide. But at the end of the day, nothing still happened, in that particular encounter. But what do you make of it? Bayelsa United, not really on the best of form in the MPFL this season.
Yeah, for me, they've really been poor this season. Don't forget, they are the first team at home to also lose their first game. So this is their second loss of the season, at home. It clearly tells you how bad they are this season. When we talked to their media person, a few days ago, he was saying that the players are ready, the teams are ready, they are going to give out their best and, sweat, blood and whatever there, that we were actually trying to caution him not to, to commit suicide.
But yes, nothing
but
came
yes. So for me, I think they've been very poor, this season, and there is need for them to change the narrative if they truly want to stay afloat in the Nigerian Premier Football League this season. Having lost their first game at home, this is their second loss, and totally we've seen 3 away victory. And out of those 3 away victory this season, 2 have come courtesy, and it's quite disappointing. And especially when we know how the NPFL is tailored, that whenever you play at home, it is like a must-win game for you at home.
Yeah.
Losing 2 games at home, it tells
Very,
you how
very sad.
bad, how poor their form is. This is, if you can't win your home game in the NPFL, Nigerian Premier Football League, then going away, I mean, my brother, they need to, gather some basket and possibly go to away matches, because they are going to concede lots and lots of goals.
All right, so talking about the MPFL, the Nigerian Football Federation has slammed a preliminary suspension to 14 referees over poor officiating in the ongoing 2023 and 2024 Nigerian Premier Football League season. This was made known in the letter issued by the Referees Development Committee unit for the NFF yesterday to the management of the MPFL, informing the league body about the suspension. The league body, the NFF as well, try most they can to bring sanity in all areas in the league this time around.
A way to go for me, because having struck a deal with a television, broadcast company, rather, a deal worth 1.6 billion naira. I think there is need for the referee to be up and doing, because they are the ones sometimes that mask the game. And if a referee, is involved with a poor officiating in any professional league game, I think such referee should be fined and banned, possibly demoted for me, because if we are having our leagues back on the television, there is need for us to have that sanity, where we can be able to sit back at the comfort of our home and watch a game that is devoid of officiating a rancor out there. And as a center ref, you hold the knife and the yam. So I think most of the times referees here, they don't even help issues, even while the league body is working around the clock to see that there is a massive improvement in the league. But the referee's decision, most times they try to look as though they are punctuating the effort of the league body in their a frantic effort to making sure that the league becomes something presentable. So for me, I think it is the right way to go. If any referee falters or err I think there's need for such referee to be seriously, punished, so that it will serve as a deterrent to others, because we need to stem the tide of poor officiating in our league if truly we want to make a headway. And considering the fact that also, many innovations have come, things are changing. We want to take our league to the next level, and if our referees are not up and doing, then it will tarnish the effort and the image of the league, which for me will be pretty bad.
All right, let's stay away from the MP first. Take a look at the Premier League as Mauricio Pochettino made a winning return to Tottenham with Chelsea, as his former club were reduced to 9 men on a night of chaos and controversy. The Argentine comeback was reduced to a minor subplot by an epic game which brought 5 goals, the further 5 which were disallowed, 2 red cards, and a slew of VAR decisions in one of the Premier League most frantic ever encounters. Goals from summer signing Cole Palmer and an hat-trick from Nicolas Jackson gave Chelsea the victory as the game ended 4-1. Michael, did you see that victory coming for Chelsea in that fashion?
What a game. Fast, frantic, furious finish there at Tottenham. I think it was one of the best games that I've seen in a couple of years right now, if I must tell you, because it's a game that came with a whole lot of debate, a whole lot of controversies, in quote, a whole lot of tempers flaring, a whole lot of tensions on the side of both fans. And for me, the statistics there also tells it all. 9 yellow cards, 2 red cards, and 5 goals disallowed. These are clear statistics that tells you the intensity of the game at Tottenham last night. And I think for me, that unbeaten run for Tottenham has come to an end. And I must congratulate Chelsea. Why? Because of
they say the honeymoon of Angel Postecoglou is over.
It's over. He's now welcome to the Premier League. But then again, you also give kudos to Tottenham. At least they played their heart out. But no thanks to Romero, who made a silly tackles, and Destiny Udoji, who also made a very silly tackle that led to their team being reduced to 10 men. And Chelsea capitalized on this immediately that happened, and they were very patient enough. Though Tottenham, like I said, they gave all their best. They had to stay to about 70-something minutes, but Chelsea were also very patient. They waited for the time to come before they were able to devour, Tottenham. And for me, I think it was one of the best match. And the issue of refereeing decision and VAR controversy continued to rage on. We saw that against Liverpool. We saw that in Arsenal game. Now we are seeing it. We also saw it in Manchester United game. So for me, I think the question is the VAR, since the introduction of the VAR, has it actually helped to improve officiating, in the Premier League? That debate continues, because in that yesterday's game, my brother, I think there is need for the EPL of a truth to go back and revisit their decision making when it has to do with the VAR out there.
Angel Postecoglou, the coach of Tottenham Hotspur, he came out to say in his post-match reaction that the referees no longer control the game anymore. And that's what he said due to some of the controversies we saw in that particular encounter. But I think this is really something huge for Chelsea. At least we hope this boosts their confidence, because we've seen them turn up in such kind of fashion and they still drop. But Mauricio Pochettino has actually come out to say that, yes, don't forget, he said that we'll be going for all titles in the Premier League. Maybe we might possibly see it come to reality at the end of the day. But for me, it was really an impressive performance from Chelsea. Nicolas Jackson gets in a hat-trick. Cole Palmer, one man who is gradually finding his scoring boots, at Chelsea as well. I think for me, I must give kudos for bringing back that scoring mentality, because Chelsea, as that before, they were finding it very difficult to get the goals, but this time we've seen the goals, of course, coming for Chelsea. In that game against Tottenham, unbeaten, this is a team that have actually gone very hard with likes of Arsenal, Manchester City, and the rest of them. So for Chelsea to come up with this, I think they should be the other team should watch out for them. So, well, Michael, let's quickly take a look at the fixtures in the UEFA Champions League tonight. Dortmund will be in action against Newcastle. Another interesting encounter, of course, to watch out for Newcastle. Watch out for, as Newcastle, of course, will be in action in that one. And Dortmund, Atletico Madrid against Celtic, Manchester City against Young Boys, Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, will be in action against Barcelona, Lazio against Feyenoord, AC Milan against PSG, Red Star Belgrade against RB Leipzig, we see FC Porto against Royal Antwerp, Newcastle, Dortmund. I don't know what you make of that encounter.
It's going to be a very big game because don't forget their group as it stands is very, very dicey, very, very keenly contested group with the likes of PSG, Dortmund, Newcastle, AC Milan. This is a very tight group, and you know, Newcastle against Dortmund is going to be a very difficult one to predict here because Dortmund is coming at the back heel of losing woefully to their rival at the Bundesliga over the weekend, where Bayern Munich actually trashed them, and having Harry Kane scoring a hat-trick in that one, coming to the Champions League against a Newcastle who won over the weekend as well, controversially in quote, but the win is a win. I think they will be beaming with confidence heading into that one. But then again, this is Champions League. This is not domestic football. It's a different rhythm to give it to either side. I just want to see good football and let the side that has more of the desire and hunger, go home with the victory.
Of course, PSG will be acting against AC Milan, and we'll look forward to see how that one will pan out at the end of the day. But our time, of course, is up. We have to wrap it